Hello, hello, podcast listeners. I'm Angelo, and with me today are Nancy and Jay.
Hi.
I'm Angelo.
No, you're not. Get that word out of your goddamn mouth.
Dang, man.
I'm Angelo?
You're not made of jello either. And if you keep up with this nonsense, I will distill the gelatin from your bones.
Oh my.
Ooh. Is that a promise?
Don't make it weird now.
We're gonna have a really tasty bone broth, aren't we?
Ooh.
No, we are not making the long pig soup.
Oh, good. I don't want that.
Speak for yourself.
Our mission begins. Get ready, it's time to go. Alejandro Saab, everybody. Alejandro is best known for voicing characters such as Cyno from Genshin Impact, Leon in Pokemon Journeys, Yuri in Fire Emblem Three Houses, Miyamura in Horimiya, Kuga in Food Wars, Kensuke Aida in Evangelion, Lark Burke in Rising of the Shield Hero, Treble in One Piece, Tsukauchi in My Hero Academia, and many others. Alejandro also primarily posts online content as a VTuber known as Sayu VTuber. He's amassed an audience on TikTok of 600,000 plus, 100,000 plus on Twitch, and many, many more on YouTube.
We are so very pleased to announce that our Japanese special guests, Yanagi Nagi and Rie Tanaka, will be offering a limited amount of autographs to Otafest attendees. In order to allocate said autographs, Otafest will be conducting early bird draws amongst pre-purchase attendees on March 25th, 2025, and a main draw amongst existing attendees on May 11th, 2025. Autographs are free and have no cash value, and no additional purchases are required by Otafest attendees to enter these draws. Please visit otafest.com/lottery for your chance to win.
And additionally, a Yanagi Nagi Superfan experience will be available for purchase on a first-come, first-served basis. Details to come in the coming weeks. And last but not least, calling all Gunpla builders. Get your kits ready and apply now for the Gunpla Hangar Showcase pre-reg. Let's see those builds shine. Pre-registration will close on May 15th, so please make sure you register via otafest.com/Gunpla before then.
Oh my god, we're getting so close.
I know, there's so many announcements.
So
this
close.
is when stuff gets
The
juicy.
news!
Oh my god, I don't want to look at the actual calendar date. Because I am so worried that we have like 2 months left.
Yeah, that's pretty accurate, actually.
We have a little bit over 2.
Do we need
A
to
little
also
bit over 2.
Do we also need to firmly and gently remind our cosplay community that you have 2 months left?
You have 2 months left. You should be ordering all your material right now. Get
End of this
every
week, please.
single piece of EVA foam, every little bit of glue, every wooden dowel that you need right now.
Buttons, don't forget buttons.
Oh,
And Velcro.
Don't worry.
So
These two are far too negative. It's not 2 months. It's 8 weeks. It's not 8 weeks. It's 56 days. That's so many more.
That's a lot of sleeps.
Not gonna lie, once you put it down to days, it actually sounds even worse.
Yeah, actually it does. 56 sleeps between now and then is actually not a lot of time.
No, it isn't. Oh my god.
Dear.
Oh
Breathing
my God.
heavily.
Registering.
fast.
I don't even cosplay, and I'm registering some pretty intense internal panic here.
Secondhand anxiety.
Secondhand anxiety. That's a good term.
Is it even
this.
secondhand? Because it's people that we're not even. We know some of them. We know that Austin is going to be panicking,
Ozzy.
but there are hundreds
panic.
of other ones
Oh,
who
absolutely.
we don't even know about.
Oh, absolutely. I am so excited for their panic.
Do you think our pro cosplayer guests, such as Autumn, do you think they panic in the same way?
Oh, 100%. 100%.
I don't think it
I
changes.
bet that they are planning already to sew themselves into some of their accessories.
Mm-hmm. Like permanently, and then they'll worry about the removal of them later.
Exactly. I met many friends at Otafest when they sewed themselves into their cosplays.
Yep. Yeah, I have been asked in the washrooms before to please help them adjust things they've been sewn into. 100%.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
It's
It
the
is
only way.
crazy. And it's not even for a lack of planning, it is just it's a lot of work.
Hmm. So yes, I do not think professional versus non-professional levels of panic differ. Just the things that you intend to do change.
And the fact that some of them are paid to panic.
Yeah,
Exactly.
being paid to panic is still panic.
True.
I'm paid to panic too.
Professional panic.
Professionally panicking.
Angelo, I heard that you recently had a panic yourself.
I
I
think
have
Angelo
had so
got
many panics
professionally
over
angry.
the last week, it's not even funny.
That's very sad to hear.
So
Tell me
I'm starting
more.
up. I've been starting up a new little side project for a bunch of streamer friends, where it is effectively a bingo on stream sort of thing,
Oh my
where there
God,
will
that
be a
sounds
bingo
amazing.
sheet directly overlaid onto the stream. Everybody gets their own unique bingo stream. There will be like a little bit of alerts so that they're all through the extension and not through the VOD. There's a lot of cool things that I'm doing, and some people were like, wow, Angelo, you're not really setting up any version control, though. What's up with that?
Yeah. What's up with that coming from a professional developer?
I'm not a professional. I'm an amateur in every single way.
I
But I will tell
am.
you, ever since college, every single attempt at version control, whether it be SVN or Tortoise or Git, has been a disaster in every single way. I don't understand why I'm so cursed with version control, but I am. And so,
What is version control?
It's a thing that
baby.
lets you. It's a thing that takes code you've written. It keeps a separate redundant copy of it somewhere, and then it also
Oh,
lets you
It's a backup.
peruse through different versions over time. So you can
Okay,
go
yeah.
back to any given version. You can
So
move
is it
forward.
like a document snapshot kind of thing that you would see in, for example, like Google Docs?
I think for
Imagine-
the sake of like explaining this to an everyday person, yes, that's a very close one.
imagine if you were writing a Word document for school and you called one for version of it Word document .final.docx, right?
And then you had a
And
final
then you have
final.
to change it. So you have final-final. But then you have to change it again because you realize that you didn't cite certain things right. So you
Final,
have
final,
final.final.2.
Yeah.
And then on the day that you go to print it, you have final.final-2-2025-0309 for real this time. Version
That's-
control is basically that, but automated.
It's a far more
Got it.
elegant version of that. Far
Sure.
more elegant. But yes.
And so, I think, you know what? They're right. I should look up a guide, and I should actually get this rolling properly. So I look up a guide, and it's a little bit sparse on the details.
Oh no.
But I try to set things up, and things seem to be going good. And because this is all on my public-facing web server, I decide, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to put the GitHub repository, the Git repository, in my home directory, and then I'll just have a symlink, basically a shortcut on Windows, into my HTML folder, right? So that way, I won't have to have two different copies of the code on the same computer. It'll just, one will point to the other. Perfect. I try to work with it. I try to do some stuff, and I have my local repository. I have my remote repository. And for some reason, I can't push from my local repository to the remote one. I was able to clone from the remote one. I don't know why I can't push to the remote one. And so I try a bunch of different things. And it's like, oh, the remote repository is checked out. What the heck does that mean? I try to Google it. I can't find anything because
really-
everything is pointing in 12,000 different directions. I have come to the conclusion that it
You
is
should have waited
actually
for me.
impossible to learn Git from the internet.
You really should have just waited for me.
Learning Git is like becoming an electrician. You need another nerd to teach you how to do it.
Me!
Because
Me! That other
nerds
nerd is me!
are literally incapable of writing a guide on how to do things
I
online.
am literally vibrating right now in how much frustration I have for you.
And so, with frustration on my mind, I'm undoing what I've done. I have a local copy of everything that I've done. So I'm going through, I'm removing what I've done on my web server so that everything can just be in a proper situation. And I go to remove that symlink.
No.
And it's like, okay, do you want to remove the contents that the symlink is pointing to? No. Well, yes, actually I do.
No.
That sounds perfect.
No.
And for some reason, it starts deleting everything in the same folder that the symlink was in. And I still don't understand why it was doing this. By the time I'd realized what was going on, about half of the files in my HTML directory were gone. I literally do not understand how this happened.
I do.
I start looking for my backups.
Uh-huh.
I have none.
Oh.
I start trying to log into my Linode account to see if I have server snapshots set up.
No.
5,000 different things get in the way of me doing that. Holy moly. But unfortunately, I'd been a cheap bastard, and for the extra $2 a month, I'd never set that up.
I mean, at the time, it was probably a big deal. $2.
I mean, I've been going for like 5 years without that being a problem.
Yeah, but things like this happen.
And so, ultimately, I used the final backup that nobody ever wants to use. Do you have a guess on what that is? I'll let you know. It is the Internet Archive.
Oh, no way.
Everybody's
No way.
favorite final backup. I go to the Internet Archive. I try to find a snapshot of my website, and unfortunately, the newest backup, the newest snapshot, is 5 days out of date from when I did a complete rewrite.
No.
So at least I have the old version, baby.
Yeah, that's better than nothing.
It's better than nothing.
Yikes.
But oh my god, am I salty. Now in the middle of all that is tilting enough. That is tilting enough, but by the next day, I was mostly over it. I'd mostly come to terms with what had happened. And
Healthy. Very healthy.
And my mother is in the process of moving, getting a new place. The rent is going to be ridiculously cheaper. And so on that Monday, last Monday, I was going to help her move a bunch of boxes and houseplants and stuff to the new place. Mm-hmm. And I walk out to my car after work. I walk out to my car and I look at my car and I'm thinking, oh, that tire's not supposed to be flat.
Oh.
That tire is literally brand new 10 days ago. Why is it flat again?
No.
I literally replaced all my tires because one had gotten flat and they needed replacing.
Mm-hmm.
But apparently, one of the rims was bent, and so it just won't hold air.
Oh, no.
And unfortunately, Canadian Tire can't get a new rim for a Pontiac G5, which is identical to a Chevy Cobalt, which is one of the most common cars on the road, using no strange parts. I don't know how that's possible. But
when it rains, it pours, my guy.
For real. After mounting the donut a day later, because I can't do it immediately, I had things to do, mm-hmm. I go to a few different tire shops that I know are nearby, and all of them close at 6 p.m.
No.
I get off work at 6 p.m.
No.
Pain. Now,
yes.
It is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
It is what it is. Mm-hmm. I figure I'll have the weekend. But Dio has been feeling a little bit under the weather. Mm-hmm. Dio's been feeling a little bit under the weather. And so Friday evening rolls around and I'm like, oh, why is my throat scratchy?
No, you didn't get sick too.
Oh, I am very sick.
No, you're just having like the roughest week.
It is all going to be uphill from here.
Yes.
I'm just saying that I have to be dragged down a little bit so that the rest of the year sounds fantastic.
I'm so sorry. You're having a time.
Now. About what I actually wanted to talk about, because I've been having a week.
Certainly.
JavaScript is the dumbest language that nerds have ever developed. JavaScript is a stain upon the internet.
But
You are
that's
not
how I play
wrong.
Minecraft.
No,
What?
it isn't. You play
What?
Minecraft with Java.
Yeah,
And
no.
Java is a perfectly acceptable programming language. It's just a little bit verbose.
Java is a very strict language.
So
The
I'm
triggering.
working on this Bingo on Stream project.
Yeah.
And I want to do fun little things. I want to do fun little things, but more importantly, because it's supposed to run over a Twitch stream, I can't really rely on page refreshes. Everything has to be asynchronous.
Absolutely not. You got to be listening for events.
Exactly. And so, one of the ways that you can do this very easily is to have your functions just run on a timer. And JavaScript has a couple of ways to do this. There's a set timeout function and a set interval function, where you can just throw your asynchronous functions into there, and they'll just run however often you say they'll run, whether it be every second, every 5 seconds, every 10 seconds, whatever you need. At least that's what it's supposed to be. So I throw my function into the set interval function,
Oh boy.
and it's not working. At all.
Oh boy.
At all. And I'm sitting here being like, what the hell's going on? What the hell is going on? So I tried doing a few things, and I realized, oh, it doesn't like asynchronous functions. To put that in plain language, an asynchronous function is something that doesn't wait for anything else.
Yes.
It will do its thing, and it will have things that happen as it gets data in. It's great. It's very
yeah.
useful, but they're
Except for
tricky to
when-
work around.
Yeah, they are.
So the set interval function is just not doing anything. But what's weird is it will do what it's supposed to do exactly once. It'll do it exactly once, and then every subsequent time, it won't do it again. And I don't understand why. I test things. I attach that function to a button, and I can click that button as many times as I need to, and it works every single time. But as soon as I try to have it on a timer, it breaks. Apparently, the way that the set timer and the set interval function work is that if you have a function that you add a little argument into, a little extra bit of data, like, ooh, here's an ID for an item thing for the database. That's very important. If I don't have that, everything breaks. If you don't have that, it will just be like, fuck you. And it will just keep the original reference, and it will break every subsequent time because that reference gets changed. The data is different. The data is changed. And JavaScript just has the most asinine workarounds for these stupid problems.
I know
That shouldn't
none
be a
of our
problem.
listeners. None of our listeners.
That
can
shouldn't
see
be
me,
a problem.
But I'm shaking my head. Because I know
I gotta
JavaScript is
say-
dumb.
All this has really done for me, other than make me feel super bad about Angelo's past week and a bit, is that when I was 14 in middle school, I was like, I like computers and I like video games. Why shouldn't I learn some computer programming? And I took like what at the time, I don't know if they still call it this now, but at the University of Calgary, they had programs called continuing education. It was essentially like summer school at elementary or at like introduction level classes for things like computer science, for example. I took that class one summer and decided I did no longer have an interest in computer science.
That
And
was
I do
a
not
smart
regret
thing
that.
to do.
Absolutely destroyed any curiosity you could have had. Wow, okay.
Yeah, I
love
mean, like
computers.
I made
I
a
love
calculator
programming.
and a video game.
I love making things. Every single time I have a project where I want to make things with computers, I end up considering maybe I should just become a cucumber farmer.
I'm a cucumber farmer.
Exactly. Jay is actually living the dream right now.
Oh yeah, I'm living like my best like urban farm Stardew Valley man dream right
You
now.
are. It's true.
I
How
have
many
cucumbers. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
how many species of things are you growing right now? It seemed like you were already heading in that direction, so let's do it.
I have like asparagus,
Yep.
watermelon,
Yep.
chili peppers.
Mm-hmm.
I have herbs. The herbs consist of sage, thyme, rosemary, and basil. And then we'll move on to the other planters where I have strawberries, Cape gooseberries,
Ooh,
cherry tomatoes, and cucumbers.
nice.
It's a good time. I'm not
How are
frustrated at all.
you?
I'm just waiting
Are
for
you
them to
going
come
to
in.
just use things on their own, or are there certain things that you want to combine together into like certain dishes? Did you have like certain meals in mind with what you were growing?
Mm, not specifically, no. I mean, this is my first real foray into essentially actual like farming variety gardening,
Okay,
where it's not just like, oh, you will have succulents that won't really produce very much, or uh, a random pepper plant here or there that won't produce very much. But like, I'm actually trying to focus on getting yield. This is probably the first time I've actually actively practiced pruning, which really goes a long way with things like plant health and fruit production and things like that. I literally have almost anything that's not an herb right now has essentially harvestable fruit in the or like flowers or spears in the case of asparagus. Like there are asparagus spears coming in.
Mm-hmm.
nice.
It's all happening all at once too. It's kind of crazy, but this is cool. I am super happy with this project, even though I only started in late December.
I'm very
Yes,
Good
proud
it's
of
timing.
been
you.
a very short period of time.
I
It's
also have a
prolific.
it is looking very prolific from the photos. I have a tangential confession to make.
Okay,
I never ever had any interest in gooseberries until it kept getting brought up in The Witcher.
really?
Oh,
And now I have a perfume that smells like lilacs and gooseberries, and that is the only
uh,
reason I have any attachment to gooseberries.
you've had them before, I take it, but you just didn't care for them.
I've had them before. There's a place in town that makes tarts, and they specifically use a gooseberry glaze, and it's very,
Mm.
very delicious. But it's not something I ever specifically went out of my way to get. And gooseberries are rare enough here in stores where you wouldn't just like have them the way that you would
Yeah.
just go and have apples and
No,
oranges.
you can get them.
You
They're
can,
they're in Walmarts and stuff. Like they're
yeah,
not
but
specialty
they're
foods
very
anymore.
seasonal.
Yeah, they're more seasonal for sure, and a lot of the times they sell them without the paper, like the natural
The,
sort
the
of
the little paper
lantern
wrap, the
covering.
lantern wrap,
Yes,
The leaf
and those
wrap.
are
and
just so
I
cute.
They look
and I
like little
think
lanterns.
I believe it makes it last like for a shorter period for some reason. So that's not a good idea.
Huh. I
But
didn't know
the
that.
even the reason I'm even growing gooseberries, other than the fact that I like eating them, is that I didn't know, but you can grow them outside in Calgary. My mom did it before I did. I
Yeah.
was like, oh, this is amazing. When she
Wait, it'll
started giving me
survive
like,
-30?
well, I don't remember if it's I think it's a perennial that can be treated as an annual. I believe is what it is. So you can
Oh,
grow it
so it
inside during
probably
the
does
winter.
die here in the winter.
It
Yes,
probably
it's not
dies, and then
wild.
the
It's
seeds
not,
just regrow a new plant.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's not wild, but you can grow it, like you can start propagating indoors, bring it outdoors for, like summer harvesting times, that kind of thing, and then bring it back inside if you want to keep the same plant. And it is very prolific as well. Like
I'd
my
do
mom
it.
gave me like handfuls, and I was just like, yay. I say handfuls, bucketfuls, really.
Fuck yeah.
Bucketfuls.
Hell yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah.
that is the only attachment I have to gooseberries. They are admittedly very tasty, but I'm very picky about tart berries. So I think it's
But you
pretty
could
rare.
pick your own tart berries.
I can pick my
I've
own
only
dang
had
berries.
gooseberries like 2 or 3 times. I never had them growing up. They just weren't as much of a thing out in Ontario.
No. Yep.
They're really
But,
good though. They do have a
every
very
now and then-
distinct flavor.
I remember that it was one of the first times we were doing one of those YYC experience meals, and the dessert was just a gooseberry thing. And I was like,
Yep.
ooh, I'll have that gooseberry thing.
Yeah, and
And
it
then
was good.
I see the berry on top of it. I was like, oh, these things. I've seen these things every now and then, and I've never been able to taste one. They're very good.
They are very good.
They're excellent.
But yeah,
They remind me slightly of the way a starfruit tastes. I don't know how many people have had starfruit.
I've
There's
had
another word for
starfruit.
starfruit. Maybe they know. Parambola, that's what it is.
Oh,
Yeah, it has 2 names. But anyways, it reminds me of a starfruit in taste, but starfruit almost has this weird leftover texture that it kind of leaves in your mouth, I find.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
haven't had starfruit since I was like younger than 10. I don't really remember what it tasted like, but I do remember not exactly enjoying them.
I like starfruit a lot. So,
most of the starfruit I've ever had was usually very watery, kind of like when you get a dragon fruit and it's not ripe enough yet, but you can still eat it. It's just very
oh
like
no.
watery. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
very sad. It's like having very like tasteless strawberries. It's very sad.
Every single time I've had dragon fruit has been the most underwhelming thing I've ever tasted.
Oh,
You
I
get
like
this
dragon fruit.
It is purple. It's got these weird green growths off of it. It looks gnarly. It's cool.
Well,
you cut it
looks like a
open.
dragon
the,
heart.
the texture is like a kiwi. Oh my god! Like everything about it is just. This is what I like. This is everything I want. Right, and then I taste it, and it's bland.
3 things. 3 things to your points, Angelo. First of all, it looks that way because it is classified as a cactus pear. It grows off
I
of
love that.
cactus-like plants.
That's amazing.
And cactus pears, if you look at like a sort of a more generic looking one, you can see where the genetic design of a dragon fruit kind of comes into play. It's like a cactus pear on steroids in how it looks and grows. Number 2, you mentioned kiwi. They are kind of like kiwi in a lot of ways. The texture is very similar. The little seeds are very similar, but it's like a light tasting kiwi without any tartness.
Exactly.
Number 3, I can't say for sure what kind of dragon fruits you've had. And I would say that even though I'm describing both kinds here, they are both fairly mild in taste. You have red dragon fruit and white dragon fruit. White is the most popular type available for grocery purchase in I think North America, or if not at least Calgary. I think it's because it keeps better. But red dragon fruit is sweeter, and in my opinion, is the better dragon fruit.
And
I think
that's
there's a
the
yellow
issue.
dragon
I've
fruit
never
as
had
well.
red dragon fruit. They've always been white dragon fruit for me, and I don't
Yeah.
mind that. Like, I don't mind the look of the dragon fruit flesh itself. Everything about the fruit makes me think I want to eat this until it's actually in my mouth.
I wouldn't call it bland in the sense that it does taste like nothing, but it is not necessarily like it doesn't hit a lot of different flavor notes. It's not tangy, it's not fragrant. It's just mildly sweet.
Yeah, it's a
That's-
very boring fruit.
I love it in
for
smoothies though.
how it looks. Yeah.
Love it in
In
smoothies.
smoothies, you'll usually get like the red dragon fruit, though, right? Because they
From, like, Starbucks,
primarily
yes.
want it for color.
Depends.
Yeah. I have thought about trying to grow dragon fruit, but I know that the tree gets quite large and I don't think I want to prune it. And it just seems like it's more trouble than it's worth. For starfruit, I don't know if I'd ever want to grow one of those either, but you can buy them mostly in the grocery stores around like the southeast and northeast. I found them most often there if you want to try one again.
For anything that actually grows off of like a tree, my opinion was always that it just wasn't worth it. Like, take a lemon. There's nothing stopping you from planting the seeds from a lemon, and you will get a lemon tree. That's fantastic. If you actually want the lemon tree for fruit, you are going to need to wait a decade before it ever starts bearing fruit. For the listening viewer, all of you, Jay is currently holding up a lemon seed.
I had a lemon. I had a lemon the other day, and I was like, it was like a seedless one for the most part, but I had one seed, and I was like, I'll keep this seed just because I can.
Just because. I have a friend who is struggling with a lemon tree right now, and I feel kind of awful because of the clear struggle that is attempting to diagnose what is wrong with your plant.
Oh,
Oh,
true.
it's the leaves are turning yellow. You could be overwatering it, underwatering it, too much sun, not enough sun. It needs fertilizer. You over fertilize. It could be anything, literally anything.
Yeah.
And lemon trees are
Yeah.
notoriously difficult to
And that's just
cultivate
growing
indoor.
them.
Yeah.
Like sometimes you have people who steal the lemons off your lemon tree,
Gee.
and
Oh
that's
my
another
god, those
problem.
lemon stealing people.
Yeah.
Those
Yeah.
lemon stealing.
Those
After all the hard work you put in.
stealing people.
Yes.
After you put in all this hard work raising said lemon tree and having it fruit, there are those lemon stealing people that
Yes.
just make it not worth it at all.
Dang,
Exactly.
dang lemon stealers. Anyway, lemon trees, very difficult. Just so hard to. They're really difficult to please. Like you can't have them near a vent. You can have, but they need air circulation. They need sun, but you can't do Calgary sun. It's so much. It's so much work.
I'm hoping that I get a nice summer out of my Japanese maples. One of them is finally starting to leave. And it just makes me so happy. It makes my heart go doki doki. My
That's
kokoro is
lovely.
going doki doki every time I look at those 2 leaves sprouting
The
off this
Kokoro
tree.
doth dokoro.
Exactly.
Very
You know
nice.
what makes what hurts my heart though?
What's that?
The fact that our 7-Elevens here are doomed to be mid.
Oh no.
Yeah. So
May I-
Weren't they just talking about how they wanted to completely change their operations over
we
here?
were just like a few months ago. They were
Yeah.
talking about how they were going to, optimize the logistics in North America and make them work a lot more like their Japanese counterparts. And we were all very excited at the potential prospect that maybe we'll start getting more Japanese goods in them.
They already have
though-
some as well. That's the
Gosh,
thing.
that makes it even worse. So
Yes.
there's now a new development from 7HQ over in Japan.
They're getting a divorce. 7 and 11 will no longer be together as
They
we
are
know it.
They're divorcing the North American portion of their business, and I'm so sad because this
fairness-
grand plan is never gonna get to work out.
Yeah. In fairness, we don't actually know if there's a buyer yet, but they haven't announced their intentions to sell, which is pretty much like 7-Eleven's a huge brand, both in
It really
obviously
is.
Asia, but it is a huge brand in America because it was an American company first and grew, and then it became a Japanese company, and now they're divesting their American portion again.
Do you
And-
think Circle K will buy them?
That's the guess. And here's, I don't want to get political, but Circle K is owned and based out of Laval, Quebec. And we are currently in the midst of a very pro-Canada effort to boost our own trade.
I
Okay?
suppose, but I mean, I literally can't tell you the last time I was in a Circle K.
I can.
I
It
can't.
nights
has
ago.
been a little while for me, but
I
I can tell you every single time I've gone into a Circle K has been awful.
Oh,
It's
like
not-
actually legitimately
It's
awful?
not great.
Oh.
Honestly, not awful. It's hyperbole to say that it's awful. It's just a lot of the downtown convenience stores, all of them, they get some difficult clientele. So
They
just
do.
about every single time you walk into any convenience store, it's like the people behind the desk are staring daggers at you. It's like, how dare you have the audacity to actually walk in here?
I
it doesn't
understand that they're
help.
having difficult days.
It doesn't help that 7-Eleven, well, first of all, the one near me, then the closest one to me, downtown wise, closed. The second closest one to me closed like 3 years ago, like 7-Elevens. So the majority of downtown convenience stores, I believe, are Circle K's.
Yeah.
So like I'm just saying it's not necessarily 7-Eleven's fault that, whatever other convenience store options you have left, they're more likely going to be a Circle K based on where we live. So you're going to have either a positive or negative experience, but it's more likely going to be at a Circle K. If Circle K picks up its game, that would be great because I prefer in the days when I'm really feeling like I don't want to treat myself, but I do want to treat myself, and I want like a 7-Eleven Glizzy and a 7-Eleven Slurpee because I prefer those options over Circle K's options.
Fair.
I will walk past 2 different Circle K's and buy whatever I needed from Co-op.
Also fair.
Instead of taking a 5-minute or 10-minute walk to a Circle K, I will walk the 30-minute round trip to a Co-op instead.
Very fair.
But yeah, I think at the end of the day, all we can hope for is that maybe like so to be very clear, the news that we have right now, 7-Eleven Japan is selling off its North American portion. The other news we were talking about prior to possibly Japan 7-Eleven expanding its global influence onto every 7-Eleven in that we would get better global products in every store, was that at some point 7-Eleven was also thinking about just selling the brand to Circle K in Canada specifically. So this plan already seems like it's kind of, they're not handshaking on it yet, but it feels like it's more likely than anything. But what it might really mean is that we're also going to divest ourselves from the American 7-Eleven. So what I'm trying to say is that I'm hoping for good results, but I'm expecting nothing except disappointment and another reason to go back to Japan.
For real. And another avenue of potential enshittification coming towards us.
Yeah.
Is Discord is exploring an IPO option.
Again.
What that means is that Discord is looking to go public. They will allow you to buy shares in Discord. Discord will be on the stock exchange.
And if there's something you don't know about what public offerings really mean, it generally means that A, the company is trying to make more money than they already make because a failing company does not sell well. So they're already making money, but they want to make more money. And how they do that is getting your money. And your money is supposed to go hand in hand with their money so that the stock price rises and, quote unquote, everybody gets rich. But what it also means is that every stockholder has a say in what direction the company takes. And that's the problem.
Yeah.
It's also entirely possible that another large company entity will come in and potentially scoop up a large share of said shares.
Yes.
And I mean, the way that some companies go, it's entirely possible that they would purchase Discord, roll it into, or perhaps kill it off in favor of their own sort of Teams organization tools, perchance. And if Discord died,
I'd be really sad,
it would be a massive problem.
I'd be really sad. I have a lovely little community that I adore.
Yes.
And it is my main way of staying in touch with certain groups of friends, you two included. So I'd be really, really sad at the loss of it.
Discord, if Discord gets enshittified to the point of uselessness, it's not like Skype or Ventrilo or TeamSpeak or Curse, where all of those were just used for voice comms, whereas Discord has a very particular role where, yes, it's a voice communication software, but even before that, it has basically replaced the PHP BB on the internet.
It has.
Before Discord existed, every single community had their own like little PHP forums.
Yup.
Otafest
Yes.
had PHP forums.
We did.
We sure
and
did.
then we
Those were
retired
good
them.
times too.
And
I mean,
a
they're
lot
outdated.
of people argue that it's actually a problem because a lot of knowledge, a lot of discussion is now in an unsearchable place. If you
That is
type,
true.
how do I do X into Discord, you will never get a brand new PHP forum post explaining how to do the thing. Instead, you'll be like, hey, this is the Discord channel for this technology. Come on in and ask our support channel. It's like, hey, let's check out this support channel. Wow, no one has been active in this server for 3 years. Oh, boy.
I know what you meant to say, by the way, about. I just wanted to point out, in no way do we endorse searching up how to do X.
Oh. Well, first you need $43 billion to buy Twitter, and then you fire everyone who actually knows what they're doing things, and then you
That's
rename
not
it
the
to
X
X.
I was referring to.
What the hell were you talking about?
Yeah, what were you talking about?
It's a medical component.
Okay, let's not go there.
I'm confusion.
Let's not go there. And like as a reminder, Microsoft attempted to buy Discord
Sure.
only a few short years ago, and that fell through. So who knows? Maybe they'll try again.
Perhaps.
I wouldn't be surprised.
They did just
would
retire
not
Skype last week.
try. I would not trust Microsoft to accomplish anything with any new software.
There's such an intensely distrustful view of Microsoft these days, and
Because
it's very
it's
interesting
valid.
to me.
Like, remember how Microsoft used to have MSN Messenger?
Oh.
MSN, being the Microsoft network at the time, MSN Messenger was one of the best messaging clients of the early 2000s.
It was
And
one of
then-
yeah.
And
I
then they
remember
bought
I could
Skype.
play Bejeweled, and I could set my status as music.
The only thing that Skype couldn't do, that MSN Messenger couldn't do, was actually do voice calls to actual phones. That is
is true. That was
everything
a
that
big thing.
Microsoft bought it for, supposedly. The reality is Microsoft wanted the user base. And then they rolled it into Microsoft, or to MSN Messenger, killed off MSN Messenger in favor of just Skype. Both products were barely usable, so nobody used them. At the beginning of the pandemic, people were like, well, I guess we'll use Skype because it's the only thing that exists. And then Zoom pops up and everybody jumps ship immediately. And now Skype is dead.
Ah, yes, those were the days.
Anything that Microsoft purchases will die. It will quickly become unusable and die.
I don't know about anyone else, but the range of communities that I'm connected to via Discord, even though I don't check in on all of them because, my God, there's a lot of messaging going on in them. There's local communities, there's convention communities, gaming communities. I have even one for like family. Like,
It's really
I
useful.
will miss all of it if this
You and I
goes in
even
the way they
have
should.
one just for our house that we can post like shopping lists for, furniture that we want to buy, or inspiration for decoration.
That is brilliant. I'm stealing that.
It's really good. I even have this is the worst. This is actually an awful thing to do, but it makes life really easy for us. We have a specific Discord channel explicitly for like, what is the password to the NAS? What is the password to the router?
I see.
Woof.
What is the password to the Raspberry Pi?
There's this thing called Bitwarden.
Yes, but you see, that's too complicated. If I
No,
can't
it's
figure out Git,
not.
if I can't figure out Git and end up
You have
destroying,
literal friends who are in tech. Me. You have me. Why aren't
what am
you
I
asking
supposed to
me?
do? What am
You
I
have
supposed to
me.
do? Get on some sort of messaging client based on the sound of broken symbols and such, and be
Look.
like, Nancy, please help with the internet. I am not good with computer.
Here's the thing. I once took a summer course in university.
I once
And-
Good
decided that the
job.
podcast was ready to go.
I'm
Good to
signing
know.
off in frustration. Good night, folks.
Bye bye.
Take care.